Turnover is definitely a story of this game, but like you said, the open receivers and those opportunities. Daniels missed them. Avery hit them. Let's watch them now. Let's go to the highlights here on the college football postgame presented by Geico. The boos raining down on Avery Johnson early. But he understood how to channel that. He's been in this game before. So has Jalen Daniels, looking for his first win in his career over Kansas State. Fumble on the opening kickoff. Daniels says, I'm going to do it myself. And this one was close.
He almost fumbled there, but obviously the ball crossed the plane, so the touchdown counted, but it was shaky.
Avery Johnson answers with a touchdown run of his own. We are now tied at 7. Next possession, fumbles the punt. Ralph Ortiz recovers. Remember, they had 2 defensive touchdowns against TCU. That continues today. And then Avery, this is what you mentioned, seam throws on the dot.
It's an absolute dime, NFL-type throw, right on the helmet of the receiver, right where you want it.
And we thought here, Takeo, this could be the momentum shift going into the locker room for halftime.
Yeah, they capped the second quarter off with the 18-play drive. They were feeling the energy, and I thought they would be able to come out and bring it out in the second half.
Second drive here for Kansas. Tip ball, interception. Too many turnovers for Kansas today. Kansas State making a run at it defensively, and then they go in and punch it in. Devin Rice there with the touchdown. He had that personal foul penalty early in the game, able to answer for that.
Right.
And then dime, here's your guy, Jace Brown.
Another NFL throw to Jace Brown, who only had 4 catches on the day, but for 160 yards because he was catching bombs like this and making big plays happen all over the field.
After that, they just kind of poured insult to injury, kept pouring the salt into the wound. But Avery Johnson, his ability to make big plays and not turn the ball over has been solid. Joe Jackson solid on the ground there as well. Daniels, though, just uncharacteristic of him. The fumbles, the interception. I don't really put tip balls on quarterbacks, but it still looks that way on the stat sheet. But Kansas State now, they face Texas Tech next week, and then they have a bye. So we're going to see if the momentum continues for them. Kansas, their next 3 weeks, Oklahoma State, a get-right game, then at Arizona, and then a bye. So we'll see. Look, these are 2 teams that are fighting for bowl berths.
Yeah.
Kansas 2 games away. Kansas State now is just 2 games away as well. What kind of hopes do you have for Kansas State going down the stretch as they right the ship?
Look, the offense is getting a lot of credit, but we cannot forget to talk about what they did on the defensive side. Collectively as a team, 4 sacks, 7 tackle for loss, 8 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, and 2 interceptions. And led by their leader, the linebacker, Des Purnell, he played an outstanding game, 1 sack, a pass breakup in the quarterback hit, and a forced fumble. So these guys are given plenty of opportunities back to the offense. But more than anything, what I saw, what I was impressed with, was defensively changing up the looks against Jalen Daniels, and then that allowed them to be able to get hands on ball and then be able to convert those over into turnovers.
Turnover-wise, Kansas State won that battle 4-1. Again, they came in top, number 1 in the Big 12. But you had a whole breakdown before the game about how Kansas State allows big plays. Kansas, I don't think, had a single pass over 15 yards today, Takeo. Was it something that Kansas State did or Kansas wasn't able to do in your mind?
Well, I think it was both. You look at Kansas, they only had 1 pass over 15 yards. It was actually 16 yards.
16 yards, yeah.
Yeah, but K-State did a marvelous job because coming into this game, they gave up plenty of explosives. And today, they were the team that did not give up no explosives. And, Vic, we talked about it at the beginning of the game. If you give up those type of plays in somebody else's stadium, it's going to be hard to walk away as a winner.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And we talk about those big plays that Kansas State did not let up defensively. I think that was the name of the game. Defensively, they bottled Kansas up.
Yep.
They didn't let them do anything. They mixed up those coverages. They made it really confusing for Jalen Daniels to be back there and be comfortable and just sit in the pocket and throw the ball downfield. Conversely, I mean, I'm just impressed with Jace Brown. I mean, I think this kid just really understands how to get open, understands how to play with Avery Johnson, and really those two have a really special connection down the field and understand how to play complementary football with each other, and then a little bit of backyard football too. Obviously, you got him here in the slot, a place where I love that, where receivers operate, just going up. Avery doing a good job throwing it short and making him come back to the football and grabbing it out the air. But here, Avery breaks out. It starts to happen. He throws his hand up. He still keeps his eyes downfield.
Yep.
And Jace just comes down with the big play. And here it's just routes versus air. When you got a guy in front of you and you give him a little 1-2 and you know he's beat and you're going up the sideline, you just hope your quarterback puts it on the dime for you. Now, I would love for him to just get in the end zone, just get the touchdown. Don't give us any heart attack moments. But he understands what he's doing, and he's making the big play for his quarterback.
The longest pass play since Will Howard connected on one 3 years ago. Longest touchdown since Adrian Martinez connected with Phillip Brooks back in 2022. The other thing you mentioned pregame, Vic, was about the sacks. No sacks for Avery Johnson, 4 for Mr. Jalen Daniels. And it just, I feel bad for Jalen Daniels.
Yeah.
I have to say it, because I think he is a great leader. I think he's been a great player. And now he has to go through 5 of these matchups and leave with 5 losses. But I have to imagine for Kansas State fans, like, I feel like you're smiling at me like you're a Kansas State guy. They have control of the state right now.
Yeah, they do.
They do. And I feel bad for Jalen, because we live in a time to where young kids, understandably so to a reason, to where they don't have a reason to stay at schools if things don't go the way that they want to.
He turned it around.
He stayed there, turned it around for 6 years now. So at the same school, that's unheard of. And I thought today, from just seeing the progression of where he started out from last year all the way up until now, I thought it was going to pay big dividends. Then I think the rain came, and I think he just started having paralysis by analysis by looking at the defensive fronts that they gave him, or what he thought that they gave him, and it just went all downhill for him.
And sometimes the football gods, they award you, right? Like, Jalen Daniels been there 6 years. He's played them year in and year out. You think this is his last year there. All the stars are aligned. They're playing at home.
They're favored for the first time.
They're favored for the first
time.
So you just think everything is kind of aligning for you, and then you go out there, and then it kind of becomes a bit bigger than you thought it was going to be. The defense starts to play differently. You start to not really get into a rhythm early on. And then second quarter comes around. Towards the end of the quarter, you get into a groove. You get into the end zone before halftime. You get the ball in the third quarter, and then second drive of that third quarter, you throw an interception. So it's just, he never really found that rhythm, and you got to give credit to Kansas State and that defense for allowing him to not find that rhythm.
The first road win of the year for Kansas State, and I have to do it in Lawrence, and the streak is now 17 games in a row. Kansas State, the winner of the Governor's Cup and the Sunflower Showdown. Let's take our attention and look at the rest of the Big 12. BYU, Iowa State, a monster game coming up in the Big 12. Iowa State, one of the favorites before the season. Baylor, Cincinnati, Robertson and that offense. Cincinnati's offense can go. 2 teams with a lot of high-powered octane. And then Houston, Arizona State. No Jordan Tyson, a really elite Houston defense. How does that match up? And can Utah right the ship against Deion Primetime Sanders? What do we think here, Takeo? What's the one that you want to focus on the most?
I'm going to have my feet kicked up so high at 8 o'clock watching Arizona State and Houston. The reason why is I consider Arizona State's offense, they play hero ball, right? Jordan Tyson is not there. And so now for Sam Levitt, what other receivers that you can get involved in the game plan and still go out and lead your team to a win? We had Houston a few weeks ago. Connor Wegman played his best game right here on our network.
Absolutely.
And he's still lighting it up. So defensively, they're causing turnovers and playing better. I want to see how does that game turn out for Houston.
Yeah. I think it's a real test for BYU coming up against Iowa State here. I think Rocco Becht is one of those quarterbacks that are in the upper echelon of the Big 12 in terms of talent. And we're going to see, I think BYU is for real, but it's just another test for them now coming up to make sure that their ranking is for real and that they can really make a push and be a real-life contender in this college football playoff come around. We got another month or two before
It's
that
interesting
happens.
you mentioned Iowa State after he said Arizona State. When Iowa State lost their two 1,000-yard receivers to the NFL, they transitioned to a tight end-based, run-powered offense with Rocco doing a lot of play action and bootlegs. Are we going to see that now with Arizona State with no Tyson? We've seen Arizona State, that game at the SEC earlier this year, pounding the rock. They're going to be a running football team, but how does Sam do without his number one option? I agree it's going to be very, very interesting. And then Utah. I mean, they're a team that could really compete in the Big 12. How are they going to do tonight after they had that crushing loss in their in-state rivalry game to BYU? Sometimes a loss like that can kind of shake you to your core. But, I mean, you know, when you would lose to Bama, what would happen the next week?
Oh, man.
Tough.
You're going to hit him
lost
there?
to him one time.
You're going to hit him
Did
there?
you? What was your record? 2-1, 3-1?
2-1. And I was 2-1 against Georgia, too.
Nice.
So I'm not going to let them have amnesia on my record, Vic.
So unfortunately, Auburn hasn't been beating Georgia much lately.
Quite some time.
And at the end of the show today, we're going to have to pay off one of those bets I'm hearing. I wasn't here for it.
Yeah.
It's cold outside.
We held
I know
it down
you guys
for you,
wouldn't allow
So
me
you-
to do that.
So you made a bet with Champ, huh?
I did.
All right.
I did.
Gotta pay it forward. It's about
Coming up
paying it
later,
forward.
we're going to break that down. Kansas State gets the win. 17 years in a row, they are partying in Manhattan. They are bringing Manhattan to Lawrence. It's never good when they come to your place and dance out of the
sunflower
stadium.
shake?
Is that the sunflower shimmy right there or what?
Hey, 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 hey.
Sunflower, sunflower.